ترشيحي لرئاسة المجلس البلدي لمدينة بيروت.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. In Aleppo, Syria, a second medical facility is hit by an airstrike in a rebel-held district, killing at least 5 and wounding over 30. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri arrives in Istanbul for an official visit to meet with senior officials. And Iranians line up outside polling stations to vote in a second round of parliamentary elections after Rouhani's allies make gains the first round. An airstrike hit a clinic in a rebel-held district of Aleppo the second time this week. It was a medical facility in Syria's second city. The strike on the Al-Marja neighborhood wounded several people, and at least 5 have been killed. 30 people were killed earlier this week when airstrikes hit the Al-Quds hospital and a nearby block of flats in the rebel-held Sukkari neighborhood. The attack on the hospital has been roundly condemned by world leaders, including U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who said it appeared to be a deliberate strike. In other news today, ISIS has claimed responsibility for a bomb attack in eastern Saudi Arabia that has wounded an officer on patrol. The attack that took place the night before in Al-Ahsa region caused a minor injury to the police officer and damaged 5 vehicles. Most of Saudi Arabia's minority Shias live in the kingdom's eastern province, which includes Al-Ahsa, an oasis region where much of the kingdom's oil reserves are located. In January, a suicide bomber attacked a Shia mosque in Al-Ahsa, killing 2 and wounding 7 during Friday prayers. This was the latest assault on members of the kingdom's minority community after earlier shootings and bombings claimed by Daesh. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri is in Istanbul on an official visit to meet with senior officials. Hariri is set for talks with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and other prominent state officials, according to a statement issued by his press office. The discussions are expected to focus on the situation in the region and the bilateral ties. Former Minister Bassem Sabah and advisor Ghattas Khouri are also accompanying him on his trip. Iranians line up outside polling stations to vote in a second round of parliamentary elections, with allies of President Hassan Rouhani seeking to take seats from conservatives. Rouhani's reformist allies made major gains in the first round following Iran's implementation of a nuclear deal with world powers, which lifted sanctions hindering the economy. The voting covers 55 smaller towns and cities where conservative support held up in February when no faction won a majority. The outcome of the second round could potentially change that. The head of the conservative coalition, Ghulam Ali Haddad Adil, stated that they hope the people in this round can have a parliament in line with the goals of Imam and the leadership of electing principalists. Jordan is permitting the popular Lebanese rock band to perform. We're talking about Mashrou' Layla, lifting an earlier ban imposed amid claims the group's songs promote religious and sexual freedom and violate local customs and religious beliefs. The indie band, known for songs about controversial subjects, say the reversal comes too late for the Jordan show to take place as scheduled. The initial ban sparked criticism of Jordan, which presents itself as an island of relative tolerance in a turbulent region where religious fundamentalism is on the rise. Coming up next, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump takes a swipe at Ted Cruz, the road to the elections of the United States. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. You're watching the 1620 o'clock news here on Future Television. A Korean-American man is sentenced to 10 years of hard labor for subversion in North Korea. Arrested in October, the 62-year-old Kim Dong-chul admitted to stealing military secrets and plotting subversion with South Koreans under the direction of the U.S. and South Korean governments. He apologized for his crimes, calling them unpardonable espionage, and that his extraordinary crime was defaming and insulting the Republic's highest dignity and spreading false propaganda. Kim said that he was approached by South Korean intelligence officers in 2011 to engage in paid espionage, adding that he was arrested while receiving a USB stick containing military and nuclear secrets from a source. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump took a swipe at Ted Cruz a day after his Republican opponent announced he had chosen former businesswoman Carly Fiorina as his running mate. Trump told a crowd at an amphitheater in Costa Mesa, California, that it was the first time in history that a man who is mathematically dead in the race for the White House had appointed someone as his vice presidential candidate.
So Cruz is getting clobbered. The senators don't like him. Here's a guy who's a U.S. senator. He's so disliked that practically nobody's supporting him, right? Nobody supports him. And he figures that he's going to get somebody. So he appoints he puts in a vice president, calls Carly. Now, in all fairness to Carly, she left at 0. Okay, she had 0. She had like 1 or 0. She had nothing going. And he put her. And he will get an award. Because, honestly, I love to break records. For the first time in the history of American politics, a man who is totally mathematically dead, he cannot win, has appointed a vice president. It's true. First time in history. Lion Ted, he's the only one. No, he's the only one. Lion Ted, he's one lying son of a gun. He's some liar, I'll tell you. You know what he probably did with her? He probably said, Carly, we're doing great. We're going to win. Let's go. Be my vice president.
24 policemen were injured in clashes across France a day earlier on the fringes of demonstrations against a labor reform bill. 3 members of the security forces were gravely injured in Paris, one of whom was in a serious condition. Police arrested 124 people across France, bringing to 382 the total number of people arrested since the controversial bill began last month. 15,000 people demonstrated in the capital alone, and riot police used tear gas to disperse protesters throwing projectiles in Paris. These sporadic strikes and protests disrupted commuter travel and led to the cancellation of flights at Orly Airport, south of Paris, as trade unions and students demanded that the French government ditch planned labor law reforms. Union leaders are seeking to maintain the momentum of a movement that has staged 4 separate nationwide days of protest over legislation designed to make it easier for employers to hire and fire. Grammy Award-winning artist Lionel Richie performed his All the Hits show to a sold-out audience at the Axis at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. The show featured the singer's well-known hits such as All Night Long, Dancing on the Ceiling, Hello, and Stuck on You, with the audience giving him multiple standing ovations. Richie gained stardom in the 1970s with the funk and soul group The Commodores, perfecting his brand of romantic ballads, then embarking on a major solo career. All the Hits runs April and May, and then September and October, and these are the highlights.
This is the coolest thing ever. According to my son, this is the best thing I've ever done in my career. This is the part that makes it fun, is that for the first time I get to not only see the crowd, I can hear them. Because when you play the large arenas and stuff, it's great, but you don't get to hear the people talking to you. And when they start talking to you here, it's serious.
been alone with you inside my mind, and in my dreams I kissed your lips 1,000 times, and sometimes see you pass outside my door. Help me now. Hello. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smiles. You're all I've ever wanted, and my arms are open wide. 'Cause you know just what to say, and you know just what to do, and I want to tell you so much. I love you.
And this is Vegas. They have everything available here. So whatever we imagine, without giving too much away. So in other words, the Commodore era will be the Commodore era, and the all night longs will seem like it's all night long, and dancing on the ceiling, just everybody watch out.
Marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. In Aleppo, Syria, a second medical facility is hit by an airstrike in a rebel-held district, killing 5 and wounding over 30. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri arrives to Istanbul on a visit with senior officials. And Iranians line up outside polling stations to vote in the second round of elections after Rouhani's allies made gains in the first round. Those are your Friday headlines live on Future Television. I'm Yumna Nofal signing off. Have a good weekend.
بترشيحي لرئاسة المجلس البلدي لمدينة بيروت.